Hello there. My name is Benjamin Jex, he, him. My project is a website redesign for the Monterey Institute for Research in Astronomy. This group is actually the first independently formed professional observatory of the US in the 20th century. It was made with the blessing of Carl Sagan and Ansel Adams and other folks like them. They operate a number of telescopes, but what they are really dedicated to beyond research is public education. They have a library at their own facilities, and they offer a yearly lecture series that has been going on for quite some time now, in addition to a quarterly newsletter. They do also have a website. The website is intended to provide these educational materials and to let people know about their upcoming events. The problem is that visitors are getting stuck, they're getting lost, and there's not seeing the things that are on the site as it currently is, especially on mobile devices. This is leaving visitors' goals unfulfilled. They're not being entertained, they're not being informed about the things that they want to know. This also means that all the effort that the organization has put into creating these materials, the entire back catalog of nearly 44-year-old newsletter, and the events that are coming, well, not at this point, but when the world returns back to normal. So how do we solve that? I considered a refresh of the site, but what was really needed is an entirely new design. So the solution that I am proposing has enabled visitors to achieve their goals of entertainment and being informed by offering curiosity-friendly navigation, a new design that works at all screen sizes, that really tells people about what's on the site before they even ask. It also does a great job of letting people know what's coming up without them even asking. This is the prototype that you can see on the website, of the website on the current site that you came from to see this. But this is what the design is all about. I got here by using a design strategy that focuses intently on the user. It's right there from the start. I started off my research at the beginning of the semester. Unfortunately, I've actually lost contact with the Institute. I've tried to been getting back with them for months, but I'm not hearing back at all. Um, and what this has meant is that like the research that I've been able to conduct is mostly secondary. I was able to get an interview or two in before the pandemic hit, but it's just not it's not all that it could be because I was not able to be in contact with the Institute. Um, I've still done the best that I can with the resources that I have, though, and that's what we'll start to see here with the provisional personas. Um, these aren't actually full personas because it's not based on entirely on people that have been interviewed, but a persona is a representation of all those real people that would have been interviewed. It's not any individual particular person, but it is a synthesis of all of those needs, ideas, goals. It all culminates in this one person. And that allows me as a designer to say, what is best for Mauricio? What is best for Gilbert? And I know them and I know their goals. Instead of thinking about what do I think looks good? What do I think works best for me? I'm thinking about the other person. It lets me become a more empathetic designer. Um, I've also used requirements phase where like I take those people, I put them in different scenarios to find out what is it that this site needs to do? What needs to be here? What are the requirements? Not how to do them, but what is needed. After gathering all those requirements, I was able to work on two frameworks. A visual framework that is looking at what's the site supposed to look like? What does the Institute want to put out into the world, and what do people want to see from this type of site? And I also worked on an interaction framework. I took those requirements and I thought about what is the type of data, what is the type of pages that are needed to meet those requirements. Not really looking at how it should look, but more what's needed and how is it laid out. That's where I did a lot of my sketching. Without worrying about like making it pretty, just figuring out like what works. Once those two were finalized, I was able to move into the final stage, the refinement stage. This is where those two come together. You more fully realize it, and you can test it on people at that point. Now, because of a time limit and my inability to hear back from the organization, I was not able to get as far with the project as I had wanted to. But what I've done instead is created a form and behavior specification document. This is essentially the blueprint that you can hand over to a developer to create the site. It's very important to have something like this so that everybody knows what's actually going on, what's actually being asked of people. That brings me to the tools that I used. For the sketching that I mentioned earlier, a lot of that happened in a tool called Linear Sketch, but the vast majority of the project took place in an application called Adobe XD. This is what you're seeing on the left here. This is all of the pages that have been fully realized and how they're hooked up together. So when you go visit that link on the site, this is what you're looking at, but you see it the way that it's meant to be seen. And that's what this tool is all about. I want to talk about what I learned from this entire process. I believe that coming into this, I knew a lot about what the different things I needed to do were, but I didn't necessarily know why am I doing it? How does this all come together? And that's something that I've really learned over the last 6 months or so. And then also just really focusing again on personas, thinking about what is best for the user, not for me. And through that, I was able to figure it out. And I believe that this design really meets those needs. I want to thank you all again for coming. Really value your time, and it means a lot that you've taken the time to watch this. I encourage you again, go check out that prototype link, and especially look at what everybody else has done. There's a lot of really fantastic designers out here, and I'm so happy to be their peer. So go give them a look. Thanks again, and have a nice day.